Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today, as you can see, we're gonna be just taking things a little bit easier, a little bit more chill. That's right, because today we're gonna be talking about the things you should and should not do when you're preparing for your very first marathon. This right here was my very first official marathon. This was the Skunk Ape Marathon, Central Florida Legends, November of 2019. This is my very first half marathon. The Williams Route 66 Marathon, I think it was November of 2018, if I'm remembering it correctly. It was either November or December 2018. All I remember is it was really cold and I almost froze to death after the race. So although that was my first marathon and my first half marathon, I've run a lot since. Marathons I've run 4 or 5 of within the past, it's May now. I've been running about a marathon a month since November, so you do the math. I took 1 month off there because my knee was giving me issues, but everything seems to be hunky-dory now. However, in my several times of running a marathon, each time progressively getting faster, which is good. However, this one, out of the 4 or 5 that I've run, has been the worst. So I want to take my pain of running that marathon and translate it to you so it's maybe something that you're actually going to be able to use. Let's get the whiteboard out. As you can see, it's not as dirty as it was yesterday. So let's get right into it, all right? I'm left-handed, I'm going to transition sides. What to do, okay? And I followed a lot of these. So number 1, we're going to hit eat right. This is massive. This is massive if you're, lifting weights, you want to eat healthier, you're running, eating right. If you're trying to look better, 90% of the physique is built on the plate and in the kitchen. The 10% is what you put into it, as far as like in the gym or running or whatever. Eating right, going up to race day means a lot of carbs until about like the day or 2 before. This is what I've been reading. And before the video goes any farther, let's just say I'm not an expert at this, so everything you hear from me is what's worked for me and what I have read and researched on my own. If you want to figure out what works best for your body type, if you're not 6'3" and 190 pounds, this might not all work for you. Some of this may work for you. I don't know. Probably not once we get to it. Find what works for you. If you need to, have a mentor, get a personal trainer, whatever you got to do, okay? Don't take my advice as gospel, all right? You know it is gospel, all right? A lot of fresh fruits, a lot of fresh vegetables, a lot of carbohydrates, jasmine rice, wild brown rice, I think is what it's called, spaghetti, as long as it's whole wheat. It's not that enriched flour stuff. You want to get away from the enriched flour. Oh my goodness, rolled oats. Oh, that stuff's good. That stuff's where it's at. Super high in carbohydrates, super high in protein. Rolled oats are fantastic. You want to make sure you get the rolled oats. Okay, they gotta say rolled oats on them. It's not quick oats. Quick oats are full of a bunch of crap. If you don't like the taste of oatmeal or the texture of oatmeal, you're wrong. So let's just move on. Sleep. This is something that people skip out on a lot. And when we get over here, we're gonna explain my failure in that field, okay? Sleep. Everybody needs between 7 and 9 hours of sleep per night, as far as I can figure out from my own research. This is massively important. This is when your body shuts down like everything else, and it's just like, okay, what do I need to fix, okay? If you're running stupid long distances or lifting stupid heavy weight, you need to sleep. Your body needs to go in and repair the muscles that you have been destroying throughout the day. You need 7 to 9 hours of sleep every single night. I don't care. Okay? James, I don't care. We're going to get on to training. Because like I said, these 2 things right here, this is what's going to really make or break you. Okay? As far as I'm concerned. As far as I've figured out, these 2 things right here, I can be running hundreds of miles in a month. If I cut out either one of these, okay, I'm dead in the water as far as when race day comes up, all right? Okay? You're going to want to gradually build it up. Think of it like stairs, tier levels, okay? So you don't hurt yourself. You don't want to hurt yourself. You know, maybe you're running, right now, maybe you're running 3 miles a day, right? Well, that's great. Maybe you want to, the next week, pump it up to 5 miles every day except for Saturday and Sunday. And on Saturday, do a long run of 8 miles. Oh, crazy. Then maybe you're doing 10 miles every 2 days, right? Once again on Saturday. I usually use Saturday as my long run day because I don't got to go to church or anything like that. So then all of a sudden, this right there, between 5 to 10 miles is where I keep it if I'm running throughout the week. It's on Saturday, I will choose to run 13 plus miles, okay? You follow me, camera guy? And I usually set out super early in the morning. Boom. This is you down here. You're sad because you're like, wow, I've got a long way to go. Number one, okay, don't compare. I do this. I compare a lot, okay? So we're gonna put that on there, comparing what not to do, okay? That's our first point right there. Whoa, friend. You're gonna get to race day and you're gonna see people who have run ultra marathons and they're like 90 years old, you know? Media loves them. They're like, oh wow, this grandmother's running, blah, blah, blah. Okay, don't compare yourself to that person, number one, because they probably have a lot more running experience than you. Number two, don't compare yourself to anybody, okay? It's your own race. Run it at your pace. So this over here, this is all good. Good, you wanna do that. And yes, I swear, if one of you says that my check mark is backwards, I'm a scream. That's the correct way if you are left-handed. And oh, I'm left-handed. Comparing, don't compare yourself to others. All right, gonna hammer home that point, all right? It's the worst thing you can do. I know a few bodybuilders, and I listen to a lot more, and I listen to a lot of like Olympic athletes and like friggin' ultra marathoners and stuff like that. The only time the experts I actually know in their field have ever hurt themselves is when they're directly trying to beat someone. Let's take, I think it's Terry Crews, for example. Daggum, that boy ripped, I'm pretty sure, one of his pectoral muscles pretty much clean off the bone because he was just trying to one-up his buddy. Run your own race. Lift your own weights. It doesn't matter. Let's get into the meat and potatoes of what I did wrong for my first marathon and why it sucked so badly. Compared myself to others on the racetrack. But even before that, night before, drank, drunk, baby. Night before, I got drunk. That was really stupid, looking at it in hindsight. That night, I was like, oh, carbohydrates, I'm gonna need these. I'm not making this up, okay? I ended up getting drunk and passing out on the couch. Barely woke up for my alarm. I set my alarm at 5 a.m. When did I go to sleep, you might ask? Oh, around 1 a.m. So already, no, I'm just not doing that. I'm just not doing that, okay? I got drunk. I had a bunch of really heavy carbohydrates, a lot of rice and cheese the night before, and then I just barely slept. Also, what to do? I did not touch on it in here because I'm gonna be honest with you, I forgot about it. Hydration. Hydrate or die. You'll see why in a little bit, okay? You think you're cool, you know, not drinking any water, barely got any sleep. That morning, I didn't have any breakfast. Now here's the thing. Since then, I have run a couple of marathons completely fasted and had no ill effects from it. So this is probably it wasn't probably the fasting that killed me. It was probably the compounding issues on top of fasting. I had a Bang energy drink. That was my hydration going into the race. Not making this up. Got up at 5 a.m. Drove to the nearest gas station. Boom. Picked up a Bang, champagne flavored, because I'm bougie. Everybody knows this, right? I'm Gucci. My tastes are expensive. On my way over there, drink that. Just down it. I crush it because I'm feeling dead. Why? Oh, I don't know. Get to the starting line and then immediately have to go to a porta potty to evacuate my bowels. Because these things have, I think, anywhere between 200 milligrams of caffeine and 300 milligrams of caffeine. So if you don't know, your bowels react to caffeine they release. So Everything's getting pushed through. So I'm glad it all happened before the race, because if it had happened during the race, I just would have left. I just would have walked into the Everglades and never been seen again. I didn't hydrate, and the caffeine dehydrated me farther. I was repping this part of hydrate or die. I was about to die. Throughout the race, at every single water station, I picked up a water cup. Them suckers are about this big, and they're like 3/4 of the way filled with water, and they're only like, I mean, shoot, they're like this big around. You ever seen those little Dixie cups they used to make it like do fluoride in and stuff? That's about it. What does all of this do to a person 22 miles into a race? I had the months of training, okay? Up until pretty much that week I was with my sister, I was eating right. You know, I'd actually even lost weight, so my joints were gonna be like better on these longer runs. So what happened at mile 22? I have heard that that is the breaking point for a lot of people, and I didn't buy it. Fun fact, they were right. Mile 22 is when all of my muscles in my left leg seized. I could see all of them intertwining with one another. I could see my calves, like the two heads of the calves, which typically, you know, unless I'm flexing them, I can't see. Everything was on fire and I couldn't move it. I looked like I had like a peg leg from the waist down, and I looked down and I had my leg up mid-stride and it started to close. Like this. It was up mid-stride and then it just started to do that. As I was running, I caught myself somehow, made my leg go back out, and then that's when it just stuck. So I was like, all right, dope. So I had to pull over to the side, and I was just up the creek without a paddle. I sat there for probably 30 minutes, stretching it out, massaging it out. I walked for about a half a mile, and I was like, okay, you know, the blood's pumping through it again. Let's see if I can run. Ran a bit, it started to do that again. It was such a bad experience. I don't know why I continued running after that, because I was in so much pain. It was agony. It was honestly just agony. I crossed the finish line at 4 hours exactly. That was my first marathon. Not bad for a first marathon with having to stop and walk quite a bit of it because of a bum leg. All of that could have been avoided if I had slept, continued to eat right throughout that week, and drank water. Not beer, idiot Marcus. Not a Bang energy drink, you absolute smooth brain. Water. Drink water. It's Mother Earth's inward embrace every time you drink it. Just think of it like that. Don't think of it like that. That's really weird. Don't think of it like that. Please learn from my experience, my failures. I want my failures to not only be a bit of a comedic relief to you, but also to be a bit of wisdom passed on, you know? You know, all those things that like reading journals and like scientific papers and like, you know, people who have been doing this a lot longer than me say. Listen to them, because they've been doing it a lot longer probably than you have, and way longer than I have, definitely. Listen to them. Take my experience as someone who didn't listen to them. The next month, I was able to run another marathon, and I ran it in 3 hours and 20 minutes. So that's because I did all of these things, especially the night before. I slept. That night, I went to bed at around 8 o'clock and woke up the next morning at 4 o'clock and was running with a bunch of water in my system at 5:30. I want to thank you guys so much for watching. If you've made it this far, hit that subscribe button. Make sure to leave a like and a comment. We'll see you guys in the next one. Remember to always take the stairs. Call me if you get tired. Pull over. Grab a hotel maybe. I just want you to be safe. That's all I got to say. Have a good day or a good night, whatever time you're watching this. See you in the next one.